Okay, I think we'll make a start just because you guys have managed to be here on time. If people are sort of come in later, that's fine. And like I said on the message, I'll be I'll be recording this and uploading it, so you can always catch up a bit later on. So we should have a mix of bronze people and silver as well as staff. And the idea is just to go through what is acceptable for your different sections and a bit of how to use EDV, so we can all get set up and moving on with it really. So I'm going to end up with a few people just asking for permission to join. So the first thing to think about, well, I'll deal with bronze to mainly. Those of you who are doing silver, most of you who had already done bronze to a decent, and you've got everything signed off, so you have a bit better idea what's going on. If we look at the timescales for bronze, in fact, can you see my? Let me present my screen now rather than you looking at me. So you should be able to see my screen now. If we look at the timescales for bronze, you've got 3 months of volunteering, 3 months physical, 3 months of skills. Okay, and then you need to choose one of those options to add another 3 months for, and then you've got a 2 day, 1 night expedition after that. So it makes sense when you're choosing these that you choose the thing that's probably easiest for you. So if you always do something physical, you're always playing football, you're always playing, doing dance or going to the gym, or you run regularly, it's probably going to make sense that you choose the physical to do for 6 months because you're doing that anyway. If you play a musical instrument or you do your skills regularly, that's again going to be the obvious one to do for the 6 months. Volunteering tends to be more difficult for people to find opportunities. I'm going to talk you through a few of the options we've got and how we've made that easier for you. But again, it's going to tend to be the one that is the least favorite option in terms of choosing for 6 months. So if you're doing bronze, you will have to do the volunteering for 6 months and then one of these other two for 6 months as well. Okay, so but certainly for bronze, you guys starting now, we should be able to get this really sort of sorted, ideally by the end of the summer term, certainly by the time you start in year 11. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you wherever it's right. We don't need to be talking or have anything unmuted at the moment, please. So I've logged in with just a sort of a fake account. So when you get your username and password, which you should have done, it should have been emailed to you by now. When you log into EDV and see it up here, this is the first thing you'll come to. So you can then choose to set up your profile. You can do bits of this on the app. I would say for the beginning stage is easier to do on a computer rather than that. So it's going to come up and ask you for a load of details. I think it's going to want things from me. So let's just give it something. It will already have your email address, so there shouldn't be any issues with that. Let's just make sure that's okay. So it's going to want a valid email address from me. In fact, my keyboard, there we go. So you'll have to just go through this. Once you've done it once, you won't have to go through it again. And particularly if you are using the app on your phone, it's probably going to be more. Okay, you're here voluntarily. Okay, we are all here voluntarily. So if people are going to be messing around, okay, it's very easy for me to see who that is. So let's not be wasting anyone's time, please. Okay. You'll have to choose a password. I think most of them are set up for your for your date of birth as you begin. Um, see that happy. Sorry, it wouldn't allow me to set this up in advance. Let's try again. Okay, so that seems to be happy there. Right. So you have to go through all of these options, and then eventually it should allow you to actually log in. Somewhere. Click the terms and conditions. There we go. Right. Okay. So you can see it's just going to take you a few minutes to put your details in, and then it's over and done with. At this point, we can then start to think about your activities, okay, which is the whole point of this. And the first job you're going to get is deciding which of the timelines you want to do. Now, if you get this wrong, you can always go back and change it. But so if you're going to do volunteering for 3 months, physical for 3 months, then skill for 6, you choose this one. If you are going to do 6 months volunteering and 3 months for the others, you just select whichever box is appropriate to you. So you just choose one of them and click it through, and eventually it will load up and it will start to give you some options there. Like I say, don't worry if you decide you want to change it. We can go back through and do things from there. So volunteering, like I said, we'll just talk briefly about that. That tends to be the one that people have a bit of stumbling block with and trying to find things to do. I think now that COVID's starting to sort of open up a little bit relative to how it was last year anyway, you might be able to go back into charity shops, things, which is obviously a one that people have done in the past. Any type of activity that you do which you don't get paid for and helps other people can class as volunteering. So if you're helping out at a sports school, you play football and you help coach or look after a younger team, that is classed as volunteering. Okay, if you look after, the Facebook account of your scout group, that could be volunteering. Yeah, anything along those types of lines. They've also changed it now, and because of COVID and because of the difficulties, they are allowing you to do volunteering for family members. Now, this isn't just about you babysitting your little brother once a week, or you're doing your normal chores. But if you are dedicating an hour a week to helping tutor a younger sibling, helping them with their schoolwork, that can count. If you are going around and doing some gardening for your grandparents, that would count. Okay, so we've got a few more options there. The other thing we've got at school. A while ago, I asked staff to email me and tell me what opportunities there were in different departments. And I'll share this on the Google Classroom. So you can see there's a lot of PE stuff. There's also drama club here. There is, let me scroll down at some point. There is science club. So lots of opportunities in school where we've got clubs that are going on for younger students. You can then go and help out. So we've got a Key Stage 3 art club. There's a Year 7 disco which is being planned, and the volunteering for that would be to actually help do all and get it all sorted. There's the science crest. So there's loads of things in school. So if you want to speak to members of staff and ask them if they've got an after school club that for a Key Stage 3 that you could help out with, that would be a good way of doing it. The key thing is it just can't be paid work, okay? Or it can't take the place of somebody who's getting paid work. So in the past, we've had people wanting to know, can I coach or can I lead a class at my dance school? That's normally a no, because really they should be paying somebody to do that. If it's for, a free thing for younger children who wouldn't normally be able to pay, then that would be acceptable. The key thing there is, like with all of these, discuss it with your group leaders. group leaders, if you're not sure about it, you can come and check with me. But most of it should be, I think, straightforward these days. When you've decided what you're going to do, so at the moment we can see these are all not started. Okay, so we've got various stages. We've got not started, programming draft, submitted, approved, and then the section submitted. So let's move on from volunteer and let's think about skills. Okay, so if we click on the skills section now, skills involves lots of stuff. Basically anything that's not physical. So you can't say, you are going to be practicing your free kicks. Yeah, that's kind of, it wouldn't count. It needs to be something. It can be sort of creative. It can be artistic. It can be cooking. It can be learning new things. It can be sort of book reviews and studying extra things outside of the classroom. And I'll show you some options we've put together in a sec. But your start date is when you were registered, which is 13. Oh, that's today's date. Actually, if you click on the calendar, and then should allow you to backdate a little bit. So if we go back to 21, it's normally from a couple of months before you were enrolled. So you can have a look at that. My computer's playing up a little bit here. The type of activity, you will then just click and you will choose where it falls into. So let's say you were going to do music. So music's a classic one. If you are learning a new musical instrument you play already, you're going to use this as a motivation to go, right, I'm going to spend an hour a week learning the piano. Okay, so that would just simply be music. So you'd click on that. It will then load up and it will give you sort of activity details. So you could just put in, learning the piano. Where are you going to do it? It might be that you're learning at school, so you're going to have lessons, or you're going to go to an after-school club. What are your goals? Fairly simply, if you are already playing and you want to progress to the next level, or if you want to learn a new song, you could, put something along those lines into here. Now, for the moment, don't worry too much about the assessor's name or position. If there is somebody that you've got in mind for the activity you're doing, you can put those down. Now that person down. If not, you would just put your group leader's name down. Okay, and you could put their name and their position. But before we go on, let me just show you what we've managed to do. Sorry, it's this one. So we've I asked staff if they had ideas for skill sections, because what we get in the past is that people start off and go, yeah, I'm going to do photography, I'm going to bake, something like that, and they do like 3 or 4 sessions of baking, and then they kind of run out of steam with it. What we've got now is I asked staff to put together some plans, and so you'll see here, and I'll share this Google Classroom with you. Baking, if we click on this, so we've got a series of baking challenges that are being put together. So I won't load it up because it'll just slow things down too much, but it is a step-by-step, week-by-week program that you can follow. So you don't have to think about it. It's just go, I'm going to do baking as my skill. You sign up to this bit, and then you can just follow it through. So we've got that for, let's see, baking. We've got various cooking. Mrs. Aitken has volunteered, and she can only do it with a small group. So if you're interested, you need to contact her in the next sort of, ideally, few days. And she will do an after-school club for 12 weeks. You will just have to get your ingredients. In fact, I think she's going to provide some ingredients and have a set thing to cook every week with her supervision and her help. So that's a great opportunity there to get your skills ticked off, but also to learn something. Photography, Mr. Lyon has done, I haven't got it loaded, has done a program of different photography projects that you can do. Again, you just follow through once a week. So I'll give you access to this classroom once the meeting's over, and you can have a bit of a sort of look through and decide whether that's one of the ways that you want to work out what skill you're going to. You may already have your own ideas that you plan on using. So if we go back to here, so let's say I was going to do cooking or sort of piano. Let's say it would be Mr. Hornsby. You might have had a word with him, and he's agreed that he's going to be your assessor. So we can put that through. Don't worry about the email. Your leader, it might at the moment only give you. Yeah, so on this account, it won't give you too many options. Your account, you should see my name or Miss Spink or Miss Heptosol. For the moment, just choose either of us. Later on, we can put you onto your individual. So we'll choose Paul here, and then that will submit for approval. And what that means is that will come to your leader, who will then look at that and be able to say, yep, that's an appropriate thing to do for your skill. What we go from there, so you do this for your physical, for your skills, and for your volunteering. It's the same type of thing. You just program in draft. Let's say I wanted to do my physical. It's not started. Click on the arrow. And same thing. So we just select a category, put the details in, where are you going to do it, goals, an assessor's name, and position, and all the sort of usual. That will then, let's say, go straight to your leader, or it'll come to me. We will then check that and go, yep, that's appropriate. You can then start doing the activity then. The next stage, if it'll let me go back, you can then start adding evidence. Okay, so once it's not going to let me go through and show you fully on here, but when you have submitted it and it's been approved that that's appropriate, you can then add evidence to that to support what you're doing. And the easiest way to do it, when you go on and look at the app, you will see that you've got text entry, you can add photos, you can add uploads of file uploads. What we've said for people last few years anyway, the easiest thing is actually just little text entries. Okay, it's just like you got the app on your phone, you just type in what you've done. So if you've been running, you can literally type like today's date, been up for a 4-mile run, weather nice, put it whatever time it is, and then save it. And it allows us then to see over the course of the 3 months that you have done something every week towards your goal. If you're doing the things for skills, like if you're doing the photography or the cooking or the baking or things that are put on there onto that Google Classroom, you could just put baking skills section week 1, and then you could just upload a photo. It works just like any other social media. You can take a photo on your phone, upload that, and that will then show us that you've been working through regularly. And that's really what we want to see. People get this idea with, I'll just come back onto screen actually. People get this idea with